What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down some of JAMARR Chase's route running. I'm going to be talking about how you guys could get better at a whip route, how you guys could kind of run this like option, kind of like flat route, and then we're going to be talking about how you guys can attack a zone coverage DB, okay? So I think this video will give you a lot of value. It'll definitely help out receivers in terms of technique, but also, guys, if you want a full video where we break down all of the routes on the route tree and the specific technique behind each route against man and zone coverage. So like if you're running a hitch, we talk about how to run a hitch against zone, how to run a hitch against man. If you talk about a post, we talk about how to run like a bang 8 post against man, how to run a bang 8 post against zone, right? So we talk about all the different scenarios. Check out that very first link in the description, guys. Full 40-minute video on all the routes on the route tree. Hope to get you guys on that soon. Let's get started. So this first route here is going to be like a whip route, right? But it's going to be an inside shade DB. So what do we want to do? What JAMARR Chase does here, does a great job of attacking leverage. So let's play it full speed. He attacks leverage, breaks to the inside, snaps this thing off on the whip, and make sure we accelerate out of the break. That's a great route right here. Great job attacking this DB and squaring him up, right? So he's inside shade. Why? Why is the DB inside shade? That's the number one thing that we got to understand first. And he's inside shade because he's trying to take away the inside. He's trying to force us back to the outside. He's trying to force us out here and take an outside release. Like if I'm going to be running a fade, he doesn't want to let me cross his face. He doesn't want to chase me across the end zone, right? So now I come off the line of scrimmage here and I attack his leverage. I square him up. I attack his midline. But what does he do? He keeps his leverage, right? That's what DBs are taught to do. DBs are taught to keep their leverage. When we come off the line and we do this, they call this a squirt release from a receiver. So I come out, I do that squirt release. Okay, that's fine. But now we want to threaten him back to the inside because his worst nightmare is when he's inside shade and he gets beat to the inside. So I come off here, I attack his leverage, I break to the inside on this slant, try to make this DB think that he's been in a good position to make this play, commits his hips. I commit my hips, I commit my shoulders, I commit my eyes. Everything about this is going slant right now, right? So now I got to snap this thing off and I got to be able to change direction fast because I want him to jump on this thing, and you see all the space that I created for myself towards the sideline simply by just attacking leverage. So you attack that DB's leverage, you move him off that platform, that creates space for you. So now if you can threaten him to the inside, you get him to jump, that's an opportunity for me to get some separation and an opportunity for me to keep some separation. So now how do we change direction and shoot back out towards the sideline off of this type of a route? So I go here, I break to the slant, I'm fast, I go from 0 tempo to 100, but how I change direction when going full speed like this is dropping my hips. I drop my hips violently. You see how he drops on the inside leg. He snaps on that inside leg, hooks the outside leg around because now that's what gets his hips and his shoulders facing the quarterback, okay? So that's the goal. You want to drop on your inside leg, then you hook the outside leg to where your hips are facing forward so you can drive off of this outside leg and create some explosion back towards the sideline when you're running this type of a whip route, right? So I attack his leverage, I break on the slant, snap it off, hook the left leg around, and now when I'm in this position, right, your hips are violent, your hips get you in a low explosive position because being in that low explosive position is how you create energy, right? And so when you're the low man's going to win because when you're in this low position, you're going to be able to create force and create energy. It's almost like a 40-yard dash. You're trying to create some explosion. That's going to shoot you back towards the sideline, and you're pushing off of that hook leg, right, because that's why you get that 45-degree shin angle. You're pushing off that hook leg, you're pumping those arms, and your whole concern is widening the gap with this DB, and that's exactly what we do. We accelerate out, widen the gap, create some space. That's a great job here by Chase. Watch this thing again full speed. So it comes off, nice squirt release, break to the inside, snap it off. Let's make sure we accelerate out. Great job changing direction by JAMARR Chase. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at him working this kind of like 1-2, and we're going to be talking about the technique behind this 1-2 right here, okay? So you see when he comes off the line right here, he's number 7. So he comes off, gives this little like attack. And you guys got to understand with this release too, they're out of this like bunch set. He's probably like one of the last reads on this, which is why he's coming off kind of tempo, kind of slow, or that's just the timing of the play, right? If I'm a first read and I got to get there right now, this is probably not something I want to go with when I come at him with this like kind of skip release and I slow play it. I probably just want to get into it a little bit quicker than that. But this is either based on the timing of the play, right? So we know that the timing of the play is going to be this, so I can take my time. Or maybe I'm the last read on this, right? Maybe he's going from 1 to 2, and then I'm coming back down to 3. So you guys got to know the situation. We use this kind of like skip release right here where I slow myself down and work that tempo. Now, when you get separation on a DB with this like 1-2 right here, you see how he goes 1-2. And he throws himself back to the inside. Now, number one, this DB's eyes are a little bit high, right? The DB should be focused on our hips. And the whole goal of when a DB is focusing on hips is just so because the common phrase is that your hips don't lie, right? So now, as a receiver, we can kind of understand that and almost reverse engineer that technique to where I throw my hips and I'm actually selling with my hips, because that's a possible thing to do. So you see when Chase shoots that left leg down, this left leg is quick. Now the whole point of this 1-2 is that left leg's quick, but that left leg gives me some push and gives me some explosion so I could throw my hip out like a crossover. So you see how he pushes off that left leg. You see here? He goes left, right. And you see how everything's going out rather than opening up this way, like almost towards this guy right here. And he's not opening up his toe. That's something that so many people struggle with, is that when they go a double move, so let's say we're doing this out in release like we're doing right now. So we're going left, then back out right. When they go left leg, they don't really push. They just take a step, and then they step with the right leg, and it's not going to be outside the DB's frame, because when we can step outside the DB's frame but still be within my frame and still have balance with my lower half, that's what can get him to move, and that's what can explode me out of this break, right? So I step outside of his frame, but at the same time he keeps his toes open. Now the other mistake people make is that maybe they'll push off of this leg, but what they do is they open up this toe, and their toe points out towards the sideline, and what ends up happening is their hips open up, and then they got no burst right here. But if you can keep that weight on the inside part of your foot, much like that whip route that we just talked about, and keep that shin angle almost on a 45, that can push you out, and that can give you some acceleration back towards the sideline and just some bursts, right? It creates energy. You're selling with your upper half. You're throwing your hip out wide like a crossover in basketball, and then you're pushing off of that leg to widen the distance. We moved him off that platform because I stepped outside of his frame, and now I'm widening the distance because of the explosion I created off of that cut by keeping my toes forward, by keeping the weight on the inside arch of my foot, and then I just combine that with driving my arms out of there, making sure that I'm running out of this break to widen the gap with this DB. That's a great job here by Chase working this 1-2. Let's watch it again full speed. So coming off, slow play 1-2. Throw my hips. You're throwing your hips almost like you're playing basketball with this guy, and you're throwing out. So now we're going to be looking at this dig route right here against zone coverage, okay? So now we're going to be looking at him. He's here. He's the number 2 on this. So when we got this safety bailing out, right, how do we know that this is zone, right? Because his eyes are, it could be a form of like press bail, I would say. Like it kind of varies, but you're more often going to see a zone coverage guy play like this, where he's going to stay on top. He's going to be facing the quarterback. His eyes are going to be kind of on that quarterback, and you're going to have the opportunity to attack this blind spot and close the gap and attack his weak hip right here, okay? So when you're in zone and you got this DB who's off, or he's bailing out of there, what you want to do until the depth of the route requires, I get that asked all the time, like, oh, okay, I attack his blind spot, but when do I break it off? It's like you break it off when the depth of the route says you break it off, right? So when you're coming off the line here, until the depth gets there, you're attacking this DB as quick as you can and is closing the distance as fast as you can with him attacking that weak hip. Because the reason why you attack that front hip right there, that weak hip, is that forces him to bail out of there. That forces a backpedal and almost like a turn and run. Now, you see how Chase angles his stem to this blind spot, right? This blind spot is exactly how it sounds. It's where the DB can't see us. So we're trying to force a speed turn out of there with that DB. But you see how he's here? He's going all based off of feel. So if I have speed into his blind spot, like I'm coming off here, I'm attacking a DB, he's turned towards the quarterback, and I get some speed to that blind spot, he's either going to really have to backpedal and do that crossover run out of there, or he's going to speed turn because he does not want to get beat over the top when it's zone coverage, right? That's another worst nightmare of this DB. So I got to make sure that I threaten this blind spot right here. He's going all off of feel, and then if I drop suddenly with my hips, you see how he's here, and he just snaps down, he drops his hips aggressively, he gets in that low explosive position, much like that whip, I can get out of this break fast, right? And now here's the deal, DBs are going to work on the exact same thing. DBs work on all these situations, and I know some DBs watch this video just to see the other side of things so they know what to work on. So this DB is going to be coming out of that break fast, so I got to make sure that when I drop my hips, I attack that blind spot, I'm creating explosion, I'm creating energy, and I'm running out of this break. I'm accelerating because I don't know if this quarterback's going to hit me first window or second window, but this is a great job using your acceleration after running a pretty decent route, but the DB's just in the right place at the right time. He's making a good play. He's jumping on this thing correctly. But again, I've said it before, it's more so what we do wrong than what the DB does right? It's more so how did I make a mistake? The DB looks really good on this play. If I attack his blind spot, I get there, and then I just start jogging out of the break, and then he looks like he just had great acceleration and made a play. I was jogging out of my break, but if I do everything right, I sell vertical, get to that blind spot, get a little bit of hesitation out of him, and I accelerate out of there, he's not going to win. If you do everything right, that's the thing. That's why I love offense. That's why I don't like defense, because the defense, the defense could do everything correctly, but the offense just does everything right, and we still win, right? The offense will always win if we do everything correctly. So your stem, your break point, and your acceleration has got to be correct on every single route to where you always, and obviously you got to finish the play with a good catch. You got to make that catch in traffic, whichever it is, going up the high point the ball. But whatever it is, if we do everything correctly, DB will not win. And this is a great example of JAMARR Chase accelerating out, making this catch, and and then getting upfield, attacking zone coverage. Let's watch it again, full speed one more time. Top of the screen here, attacking that blind spot, snaps this thing off. Make sure we drop my hips. That creates explosion, and that accelerates me out of this break. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you guys want a full video on all the routes on the route tree against man and against zone coverage, check out that very first link in the description. And then also, guys, if you have any questions at all, leave those in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'll see you guys next time.